I now recognize my good friend from Texas, Mr. Nehls.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for allowing me to also wave onto your committee today to speak on this important issue. As a former law enforcement official, 30 years, folks, retired sheriff, Large County in Texas, I'm pleased to speak today about the importance of unmanned aerial drones in providing public safety. I had drones. I thought they were fantastic, expensive ones, like $35,000, $40,000. Would tether them to the top of my command center, give us a good view of the area. Fantastic. Everyday law enforcement officers and first responders around our great nation are forced to deal with some of the most difficult and dangerous situations. Whether it's a firefighter racing into a burning building or a police officer responding to gang violence, having real-time information is invaluable. The unknown and high-risk scenarios has the potential to lead to more unintended consequences and often one of the most dangerous things to consider. In high-stress situations where seconds can be a matter of life or death, it is imperative that we provide our brothers and sisters in blue the best technology, weaponry, and tools to combat violent criminals. Every police officer around the country would prefer to de-escalate high-risk situations. To achieve this objective, law enforcement needs to gain situational awareness of the threats they face, and drones provide real-time data in responding officers about the threats they face and where they should respond. So I have a bill. It's called the Drone Research and Innovation for Law Enforcement Act, and that would permit small unmanned aircraft pilot research for public safety. Specifically, the bill would establish a pilot research study managed by the FAA's Center of Excellence for unmanned drones utilized for public safety. The goal of the study is to evaluate the potential of non-lethal de-escalation drones as a tool for state and local law enforcement during high-risk events. It just makes sense. I believe de-escalation drones provide officers more distance from dangers and time to address them. After completing the study, the bill directs the administrator of the FAA to initiate a rulemaking process that could approve the use of non-lethal de-escalation unmanned aircraft. So, Mr. Daughtry, first I want to thank you, sir, for your service. And
thank you.
Can you explain how law enforcement would utilize, let's just say, a drone in a hostage situation, or God forbid, my friend, a school shooting where the perpetrators have bunkered into a compound?
I'm gonna give you a real life example. A couple of months ago, there was a barricaded situation where our emergency service units were positioned outside the door. They did everything to try to mitigate this incident. They sent in a scout, which is a robot where they go in and look. The guy put a towel over it. They sent in like a little ball where it has a camera where they can see the guy threw it out. We sent in a drone in the window, and they seen that he had the weapon, and the guy smacked it with the broom. But then that was in the diversion where he was distracted, and our team went in and safely took the individual into custody. So these drones are a game changer, and they are saving our officers' lives.
Without a question. And, you know, when we would have high-risk warrants, we would send a drone overhead just to evaluate the situation, see if there's anybody going in and going out. Drones are absolutely a wonderful way. I think it saves lives. I think it saves officers' lives. And I'll even take it to the next step and say eventually we should put non-lethal on drones. Use one to tase somebody. You know, how are you going to knock that drone out of the air that's 10 feet above you? If you have a camera on it and you can communicate with that drone, and that drone can communicate with that suspect, I think it's going to save officers' lives. But that's a whole nother story. But tell me a little bit about the Star Chase. What do you think about that?
Star Chase is another tool. Under this administration, under our police commissioner, our mayor, we're not going to have a city of lawlessness. And I think after COVID, that the criminal element just became emboldened. They're not stopping for the police on regular minor traffic stops. So if a car takes off, or if a stolen car comes in, we get a hit from one of our LPR readers throughout one of the areas throughout the city. Once the officers behind that vehicle, they activate their lights and sirens, the vehicle takes off. Instead of us going through a pursuit throughout New York City, as you know, 8.6 million people, the officers will go behind the vehicle, shoot a dart, it sticks on the back of the car. We'll fall back, they're tracking it, and our Joint Operations Center real time also, The officers are tracking it live on their cell phones as well as our aviation unit. When that vehicle stops, the team will move in and converge on him and safely take him into custody.
I think that makes total sense too, because officers don't like to get into high-speed chases. They don't want to do that because they're risking their own lives as well. So eventually you have that technology. Eventually you just wait for the guy to go home.
Yeah.
Wait for the guy to get home, or stop in a certain area, in an unincorporated area, and then try to take that unit down. But the technology that we have today, and specifically drones, using the drones that we've had, putting one in every sergeant's car. I mean, you can get them; they're relatively cheap, and then to be able to transmit that information down to the MDC inside police in their cars or back in a command center, I think is a tool. I think it's a step in the right direction, and we need to do everything we possibly can to support the use of unmanned drones in law enforcement. God bless you guys for what you do. Have a good police week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nehls. We are going to do a second round of questioning, so Mr. Nehls, if you have anything else that you want to stick around for,